What's up guys, David Chirek here, and today I'm going to be doing a redraft of the 2016 NBA draft. Now this was a very well-known, and it turned out to be a very successful and good draft. So this is a really interesting one to do a redraft for. If you guys don't know what a redraft is, basically I'm going to be taking the players from this draft in their current state and taking the best players from this draft and redrafting it. So guys like Pascal Siakam, who went 27th, would go way higher. Guys like Brogdon, who went in the second round, would also probably be a lottery pick. So yeah, we're gonna be doing a redraft. I'm gonna do just the lottery picks, so 14-1, and let's get this started. Starting it off with an honorable mention here, we have Taurean Prince. Now, Taurean Prince was originally drafted 12th. I have him just missing out on the lottery here. He's having a pretty good season in Brooklyn, averaging about 12 points per game. The efficiency isn't there. He's shooting, 37 and 33 from three. So that's mainly why I decided not to put him in this, because his shot selection this year hasn't been great in Brooklyn. But he was definitely close to one of these lottery picks. So let's move on to pick number 14 here. Now, pick number 14 was originally Denzel Valentine by the Chicago Bulls. But this time the Chicago Bulls are going to be taking someone who they took number 5 overall, Chris Dunn. Now, Chris Dunn is probably one of the best point guard defenders in the league right now. He is number 2 in steals per game. He's not the best offensively, only averaging 7 points per game this year, which is down from his previous 2 seasons. But like I said, he's a good defensive point guard. He's a low turnover point guard. We just haven't really seen what he can do offensively yet, but defensively he's there. So I thought I had to put him in here at number 14, and yeah, he's a good defender. He started most games for the Bulls this year, so he's a reliable starting point guard, even though the Bulls aren't great. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Chris Dunn at number 14 being selected instead of Denzel Valentine. Moving on to pick 13. Originally, Georgios Papagiannis was selected at pick 13. I really don't know too much about this guy, but obviously he didn't have the best NBA career. But instead, we're going to have Ivica Zubac at pick number 13 here. He was originally selected number 32. So the Phoenix Suns taking Zubac here. He's a good traditional rim rolling center. He's decent defensively in the pick and roll. He's good. Yeah, he offensively this year, he is averaging 8 points per game, about 7 rebounds. So he's been a good option for the Clippers, mainly starting for them as Montrezl Harrell obviously comes off the bench. And yeah, overall, he's just a good traditional center. He doesn't really give you shooting. He hasn't hit a single 3 in his career. So the outside shooting isn't there, but he's a good traditional center, like I've said. And yeah, I thought I had to put him here at number 13. And yeah, the Phoenix Suns taking Ivica Zubac, definitely a quality center in today's NBA. All right, moving on to pick number 12. Pick 12 is actually where Taurean Prince was originally selected by the Utah Jazz. But in this redraft, the Utah Jazz, in my opinion, would take Malik Beasley, the shooting guard for what was the Denver Nuggets. Now, he was traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and he was actually breaking out pretty much offensively with the Timberwolves. Obviously, he didn't have as many shots in Denver because that team is just loaded. They have so many good players. They're so deep, so it's kind of hard to get minutes for everybody. But with his expanded role in Minnesota, he's averaging 20 points per game, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, shooting actually really efficiently, 47 from the field, 42 from 3, which is insane, and 75 from the line. So he's an efficient scorer, definitely the Wolves' best 3-point shooter, which they needed. He's not the best defender, but he can get it done defensively, averaging 0.6 steals, and like I said, definitely their best 3-point shooter. He's not the best playmaker either, as he's only averaging 2 assists. He provides good off-ball scoring for the Wolves, and he's definitely helped out in Minnesota there. I'm interested to see what his role is going to be moving forward. I don't know if the Wolves are going to hold on to him with their Karl Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell core there. We'll have to see what happens, but he's been having a great year in Minnesota, and he was even having a good year in Denver before he got traded. So shout out to Malik Beasley coming in at number 12 to the Utah Jazz. All right, moving on to pick number 11 here. In the 2016 draft, the Orlando Magic originally took Domantas Sabonis, but in this redraft, they're going to be taking Caris LeVert at number 11. Now, he has expanded his game offensively this season. That might be a result of Kyrie Irving missing a lot of time. D'Angelo Russell obviously isn't there this season. So he's kind of had a breakout season offensively because he obviously had injury issues this year, so he's been a lot more healthy this year. But we don't know how real that is with Kyrie out, with KD out. We're going to have to see what happens when they come back, and his role offensively is probably going to decline a bit. He's probably just going to have to be a shooter off ball. The only problem is, yeah, he's averaging 17 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, but the efficiency really isn't there for Caris LeVert, shooting 41 from the field and 38 from 3. The 3-point percentage isn't bad, but just the field goal percentage isn't great either. So efficiency isn't really there for Caris LeVert. He's not the worst defender either. I can think of a lot of other guards that are worse than Caris LeVert defensively. He's averaging about a steal per game. So that's why Caris LeVert is in here at number 11. All right, moving on to pick number 10 here. In the original draft, the Milwaukee Bucks originally took Thon Maker, however you want to say it. But in this redraft, I have the Milwaukee Bucks taking Buddy Hield at number 10. Now, Buddy Hield, obviously we know him as a great 3-point shooter, but other than that, this season his 3-point percentage has dipped a little bit. He's averaging about 20 points per game, shooting 39% from 3, which is obviously still great, but not as good as the last couple years where he shot around 42 to 43%. But other than shooting threes, he can't really do much else. I wouldn't really call him a scorer. I would call him a 3-point shooter. He's not a good defender. He's shown that he's not a good playmaker. When Luke Walton's put him in that point guard position without De'Aaron Fox this season, he hasn't really shown that he can do it. Averaging about 3 assists per game, which isn't terrible, but he's shown that he can't really run that point guard position, which I'm not surprised by. Honestly, you could argue Malik Beasley, Caris LeVert could maybe go over Buddy Hield because they do bring more things, I think, to the game. But Buddy Hield is obviously a really good 3-point shooter. So that's what I had to put him at number 10 here, drafted by the Milwaukee Bucks. Moving on to pick number 9 here, the Toronto Raptors originally selected Jakob Poeltl. Now, as a Raptors fan, he wasn't terrible. Obviously, he helped us get Kawhi Leonard in that deal. But in real life, or in this fantasy draft here, the Raptors are going to be taking DeJounte Murray. Now, DeJounte Murray for the Spurs was originally picked at number 29. We all know him as an elite defender. I could see this guy making tons of all-defensive teams in the future. He's a great defender, probably one of the best at that guard position, and he's only 23, which is insane. This kid is only 23. I said kid, even though I'm way younger than him. And he's honestly not that bad offensively either, averaging 10 points per game this season, 5 rebounds and 4 assists, and shooting 47 from the field, 38 from 3, so he's a good 3-point shooter as well. And defensively averaging 1.7 steals per game, which is definitely one of the top spots in the league. And he's got a bright future, definitely going to continue to be one of the best defenders in the league and one of the best guard defenders as well. So shout out to DeJounte Murray. Brings a lot of things to the game that aren't really shown on the stat sheet. So definitely one of my favorite players on this list here. Now let's move on to pick number 8. In real life, the Sacramento Kings took Marquese Chriss. Marquese Chriss isn't the worst player, but they definitely could have done better. I have the Sacramento Kings taking an undrafted guy in Fred VanVleet at number 8. Now, we all know Fred, what he did in the finals last year for the Raptors. He's been great this year for the Raptors, averaging 17 points per game, 3 or 4 rebounds and 6.5 assists, so he's been there offensively. Efficiency-wise, he's not really there, shooting 40% from the field. He hasn't finished the best in the paint this year, but he has had an expanded role as well. But he is shooting 38% from the 3, which is not bad at all. He showed that he's a starting caliber point guard. He's definitely going to get paid this offseason, hopefully by the Raptors, hopefully not by the Pistons or anyone else. He draws fouls, gets to the line, takes about 3.5 free throws attempted per game, which is good for a guard. And he's a great defender as well. I didn't even say that before. He's averaging 1.9 steals per game, which is number 4 in the league. He's also first in deflections per game in the league at 4.2. So Freddie, great leader, great defender, kind of almost like a young Kyle Lowry. Not a young Kyle Lowry, but kind of molding into that Kyle Lowry role. He's not going to be super efficient. He's not going to score a ton of points, but he's going to pass the ball. He's going to make the right play. He's going to play good defense, and he's going to play his heart out. So Fred VanVleet coming in at number 8. Now let's move on to number 7, where the Denver Nuggets originally took Jamal Murray. Now the Nuggets are going to take, in this draft, Malcolm Brogdon. Now Malcolm Brogdon had a great season with the Bucks last year, making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. This year, with the Pacers, he's had more shots, more opportunities, so it has decreased his efficiency a little bit. Shooting 44 from the field, 31 from 3. The free throw percentage is still there, obviously. This dude was he was a 50-40-90 guy last year, which is insane. Former Rookie of the Year. He makes great decisions offensively, averaging, 7 assists this year for the Pacers. And yeah, he's shown that he's going to be a starter caliber and a starting point guard in this league, a really solid point guard for years to come. He's a good defender too. It doesn't really show on the box score, but anytime I watch Pacers games, which isn't that much, but anytime I do, he has shown that he's a good defender. He has missed some time this year, so I would have liked to see him play a little bit more, but overall, he's been really good this year for the Pacers, and that's why I have him here at number 7, going to the Denver Nuggets. Now let's move on to number 6, where the New Orleans Pelicans took Buddy Hield. In this draft, they're going to be taking Jaylen Brown at number 6. Now, some people might be mad with someone that I have over Jaylen Brown, but Jaylen Brown was great this season. Fringe All-Star. He could have made the All-Star team. But I mean, Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker, I don't think the Celtics really could have had 3 All-Stars, but he would have deserved it. Averaging 20 points per game, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, shooting very efficiently, 49% from the field, 38 from 3, and 73 from the line. He's a really good defender. I think people know that now, but yeah, he's a great defender, averaging 1.1 steals per game. He's taking better shots this year, just like Jason Tatum. Overall, that Celtics team is a lot better this year with Kemba, and Jaylen Brown is also a big part of that. He jumped up 7 points per game this year. He low-key could be a most improved candidate. Obviously, Brandon Ingram and Bam Adebayo are more in that conversation. But yeah, shout out to Jaylen Brown here. Great pick for what would be the New Orleans Pelicans. Now let's move on to pick number 5. Originally, the Minnesota Timberwolves took Chris Dunn. But in this fantasy draft, or this not fantasy draft, this is not a King of the Fourth Quarter video, but in this redraft here, I have the Minnesota Timberwolves taking Jamal Murray at number 5. Jamal originally went 7th. He's shown this year that even last year in the playoffs too, he's the go-to guy, I think, for the Nuggets in clutch time. He's an efficient scorer. He's a good playmaker. He's not the best defensively. I'd say he's below average at his position defensively. But offensively, he brings it for the Nuggets, averaging 19 points per game, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting pretty efficiently, 45 from the field, 35 from 3, and 89 from the line, which is really impressive. He's always been a good free throw shooter, but I didn't realize his percentage was that high this year. But anyways, he's shown, like I said, that he can be that guy in the clutch that the Nuggets need to go to if Jokic isn't really having the best night offensively, and Jokic isn't really like that, like a scorer, so it's good to have Jamal Murray for the Nuggets there, and they've been great this year, so I had to put Jamal Murray at number 5 here on this list, going to the Minnesota Timberwolves. All right, moving on to pick number 4 here. The Phoenix Suns originally took Dragon Bender, which we all know was a mistake. I don't even know what team Bender's on right now. What is he on? He's on the Bucks, right? I forgot about that. But yeah, not the best picks for the Phoenix Suns there. They kind of took, they had a couple really bad picks in this draft. Papagiannis and Bender. All right, but instead, we're going to be having the Phoenix Suns taking Domantas Sabonis at number 4 here. Sabonis was originally taken 11th by the Magic, of course. This year, he was a first-time All-Star for the Pacers. The Pacers' second leading scorer, which pretty much the first. He's just slightly behind TJ Warren. He's a good passing big, just like his dad. Averaging, I think, around 5 assists. Yeah, 5 assists per game this season, 18.5 points. And he's been slightly better defensively this year for the Nuggets. And yeah, he's just, he's a really good all-around big for the Pacers. He brings the scoring, he brings the passing. He's shooting very efficiently. Well, I guess he's a big, so 54%. He hasn't shot the three that well this year, shooting 25% from the three, but he brings the passing, just like his dad. Kind of also like, maybe like a Marc Gasol type, not as good defensively, but offensively I can see him kind of being like a Marc Gasol. So he's gonna be a great player in this league for years to come. So Brandon, or Domantas Sabonis, coming in at number 4. I kind of spoiled number 3 there. Originally, the Boston Celtics took Jaylen Brown, but in this redraft, they're going to be taking Brandon Ingram at number 3. This year, Brandon Ingram having a breakout season in New Orleans, averaging 24 points per game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting really efficiently, 46 from the field, 38, pretty much 39 from 3, and then 86 from the line. Obviously, he was a first-time All-Star this year, and he definitely deserved it. The only thing is, I don't get how, like, Ingram of the Pelicans, which were a bad team, made an All-Star team, but Bradley Beal of the Wizards, who were pretty much just as bad and he had better stats, didn't make it. I don't know. That's just something I think about a lot. But, yeah, he's most improved candidate this year. Probably not going to get it behind Bam. He's efficient, like I said. He's not been great defensively over the course of his career. With that skinny build, I don't know if he'll ever be like a great defender, but maybe he can. We've seen Kevin Durant with that same build become a pretty elite defender. He could be a good shot blocker, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, we got Brandon Ingram coming in at number 3, a great scorer for the Pelicans, and he's gonna be great in the future. He's super young. How old is Brandon Ingram? He's 22 only, so that's insane. All right, moving on to number 2 here. Originally, the Lakers took Brandon Ingram, of course, but in this redraft, we have someone that no one would ever think would be this good. We have Pascal Siakam, who was drafted at number 27, going number 2 here to the Lakers. He's been the Raptors' leading scorer this year. Of course, he's stepped up with Kawhi leaving. He's a great defender. I was looking at his defensive stats, and I didn't even realize Pascal, like, if you're looking at advanced defensive stats, he's like pretty much tops in every single one. He's number 1 in the league in contested three-point shots. His playmaking has improved as well, averaging 24 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, 7.5 rebounds, 3.6 assists. His efficiency has gone down a little bit compared to last year, but that makes sense. He's the number 1 option now. And Pascal just showed that he's a great option he might not be a number 1 option for a championship team, but he showed last year that he can be a number 2 option on a championship team. And yeah, he's been great this year for the Raptors. First time all-star starter. So I had to put him at number 2. Now, he could go number 1 above the guy that I have number 1. You probably know who it is. But we have Ben Simmons once again going number 1. Now, if we're taking how good they are right now, I'm going to put Pascal at number 1. But if we're taking and we're looking into the future, I got to put Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is younger. Ben Simmons is 23 and Pascal is 26. So he's 3 years younger, which is a huge deal. I don't care what you say, it definitely is. He's probably the best defender, I would say, right now in this draft. You could say DeJounte Murray. I mean, even Pascal's a great defender as well, but I think Ben Simmons is really underrated defensively. Yes, we know he can't shoot. He doesn't provide spacing at all for that Philly team, and Philly has been struggling. But I think if you put Ben Simmons in the right system, I know a bunch of people have said this, but if you put him in a Giannis-type system where he's got shooters around him and he's the focal point of the offense, I think he would be a lot better than what we know right now. Averaging 17 points per game, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. Like, dude is an all-around player, great playmaker, great passer. He's literally number 1 in the league for steals per game right now, 2.1. He's shooting efficiently from the field, 58%. As a point guard, obviously he's a bigger point guard, but either way, that's insane. I never actually looked at this, 33% from 3. I guess he took 3 threes and made 1. I think he made 1 3 this season. So the shooting obviously still isn't there, but I had to put him at number 1 above Pascal because, like I said, he's 3 years younger. And if we're looking into the future, if I was a GM, personally, I would take, it's tough. Yeah, I would take Ben Simmons just because he's 3 years younger. He could develop a shot. And if he does develop a shot, he'll be dangerous. But he doesn't even need to. That's like the annoying thing. Like, he's great right now at what he does. So if he doesn't develop a shot, that's perfectly fine. He's still going to be a great player in the NBA. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this 2016 NBA redraft. This was probably a long video. And yeah, I think this is a pretty good list. Let me know down below if you guys agree with this list. And drop your own redrafts in the comments down below. And if you guys want to see more NBA videos, I know these don't get as many views, but I'm trying to reach a little bit of a new audience, hopefully get some new people in here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys liked it, make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.